Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fae Fam Talks. This is episode number 6, featuring our good old friend here, Arocks75. We're going to be talking all sorts of things today. In these episodes, I've been talking about content creation and my guests' journey through them, as well as like talking about the gaming news and anything that they want to talk about as well. I give them an opportunity to talk about a topic of their choice. Now, in the past, we've talked about usually things about like games and whatnot, but we've decided to change it up this time around. And Arox came to me with the topic of keeping it positive, the positivity during these COVID times, because the past year has been very a lot to say. It's going to be a very interesting topic. Now, before we get into that, we are going to talk about the content creation journey that we have had with Arocks, but how I met Arocks from, if I remember correctly, I found Arocks from Sugar Mama rated me, and you were in the Twitch chat, and I think it was during I think it was during a birthday subathon, if I remember correctly. And I think,
Yes, ma'am.
and I think you were like gifting subs in there, and we were having lots of fun. And I think I played Just Dance that day. It was lots of fun
It was a
then.
great stream. It was a lot of fun.
That was so long ago. It was because it was my first subathon that I ever had, and it was like 6 months into my journey. So like, it was a year and a half ago at this point, and that's a long ass time.
It's been a year and a half already. Feels
Yeah,
like just yesterday.
it's insane. It's insane.
Time
There's a
flies when
lot of
you're having
time.
fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, did you want to introduce yourself so that everybody kind of knows a little bit more about you?
Sure. My name's Arocks. Um, my real name's Austin. I know most of y'all already, but sorry, I get a little nervous when I'm doing
Oh no,
something.
you're
This is my
fine.
first ever podcast to be a part of, but I play a lot of Fall Guys right now, and one of my favorite games of all time is Pokemon. That's what I got my start with here on Twitch, and I got started on streaming it because I wanted to help and make lives better by doing charity streams. Once I get a bigger community, so I can give back to people that are less fortunate and that are suffering through times like what we're going through with COVID. And I've just been having so much fun. I've done streams to benefit autism awareness, and I've done it. I got more things planned in the future, but that's what I've done so far, and got many more great things coming.
That's exciting. I'm really excited. So you're saying that you started doing this stuff because you wanted to do like charity streams and get money going for people that are in need of the money, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's really cool. I really love that idea of wanting to have that reason to start. Um, and it's kind of cool to see different people's perspectives of why they started streaming, because I started streaming because I wanted money. I'm not even kidding. Like, I needed extra buck, and I didn't want to be at my job at the time. And I was in kind of like a depressive state where I just didn't want to deal with anything. And then I started changing it up, and now I just kind of do it for the fun and the community that I have, because I just absolutely love everybody that has come into my community and said hello to me. Completely different
That's awesome.
aspect.
We all have everybody's unique, and we have all have our own reasons why we got started. And I love it. Always love hearing how other people got started as well. Um, when it comes to being in a depressive state, I get it. I was completely in that same space earlier this week.
Mhm.
I had to end stream a couple times because earlier earlier than I wanted to, because I was about ready. Just I wasn't there mentally
Mhm.
ready to do it. Uh, just right now, we're working on moving and dealing with work. Doing that with my family is
Mhm.
never a fun time, because we all have our ways that we want things done,
Mhm.
and we don't always agree on how to get it done.
Right.
So that's been taking a toll on me mentally. So I
Of
get it.
course. And you do just remember that you are allowed to take breaks when you need to, because your community, the ones that are there, are going to be there because they're there for you. And if they think that, if you tell them, hey, I'm not doing so hot right now, like if you're 100% with them, they'll be there for you for the next time, because that's what I've done myself. Is I've told people, hey, I'm not 100%, and I've taken a week off here and there, because sometimes you just need to do that. But the other aspect is that sometimes you need to do what stream a little bit more, because streaming helps you cope with things. So it really just depends on where you're at in that. But if you need to take a break, just remember that that is a capability. You are able to take a break.
Oh yeah. One reason I really don't take a lot of breaks is because I like to use streaming as my getaway from real life, to so I can just let all that out and just
Mhm.
hang out with my friends.
Oh yeah.
Like how used to you'd be able to go into the bar and have drinks with your friends.
Mhm.
Well, now with COVID, you can't do that. But streaming has been a great getaway from real life, and I've enjoyed every minute of it so far.
Oh yeah. I've enjoyed it. I think streaming is honestly, I never went to bars. I never did any of that. I didn't go to clubs or anything. I think the only time I ever went to a bar was for my bachelorette party, and that was about it. And that was like, I don't know, 3, 4. I know how to count. I think it was 4 years ago.
You don't look a day over 20. You don't look like you should have been married that long already.
I think I have 2017. Yeah, so it would be 4 years now. I've been married for 4 years.
Oh wow!
I've been with my husband
Well,
for
congratulations.
7, 8, 6. I don't know. I can't count anymore.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, it's
Congratulations to
thank
y'all.
you. Thank you. It's been interesting. It's been a moment. Oh, we lost you.
Sorry about that. I had a notification come across. Let me. Me and technology have never got along.
No, I
Sorry
get
about
that.
that.
I get that. So you said you're moving soon, right?
Oh yes, uh, we have a house out in the city
Mhm.
where I grew up in my whole life, and we're actually moving out to the house I'm currently broadcasting to y'all from.
Mm.
Uh, this is actually my grandma's house, but it's she she lives with us out in the city, but she currently can't take care of herself.
Mhm.
So we help take care of her throughout the day, and well, my dad wants her to be able to be out here at her where she at her house when she passes away. She's about almost 90 now,
Oh wow.
in May, and she'll be and we'll be moving out here. And when she passes away, actually, she left this house to my dad in the will, so he's gonna keep it when she eventually passes and all that.
So you'll be able
So
to stay that in that house when that happens.
yes, ma'am.
That's really cool. That's awesome. So your name, Arocks75. I'm assuming it has to do with your actual name, but you want to give us a little backstory on your name and how you got it?
Sure. Originally, the long version is actually my first name. My first name is actually Austin,
Mm-hmm.
and then I shortened it to Arocks because every time somebody would see my username, they'd always ask me if I'm from Austin, Texas, but I'm
Oh.
actually about 500 miles north of there, and just kind of kept with the rocks. It just felt right, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like changing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 75 was actually my number back when I was in high school when I was playing football.
Ah. So it's like your lucky number.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's a good number. 5 is mine. 5 is my lucky number.
Hey, I got half. You got half of my lucky number right there.
There we
I'll have to
go.
remember that next time I'm buying lotto tickets.
All right. So what are you said that you had some future plans with some of the content creation that you're doing with Twitch. Do you want to get into some of that?
Sure. One thing I was wanting to start is one thing. There's a ton of tournaments with the game Fall Guys right now,
Mhm.
but there's actually one going on that I have a few friends actually participating in it. It's called Golden Grabs. I,
Oh, okay.
I don't know all the rules, so I don't know how it's working, but good luck to all of them if any of them are out there watching this.
Mhm.
Um, but there's not really a league for it during the week for them to practice in.
Mhm.
So one thing I was wanting to do is start a league for that.
Mhm.
Like you know how there's ESL, CS:GO
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Twitch, something like one of those leagues,
yeah. Okay. That'd be fun.
and then possibly even a weekly podcast going over tournaments and stuff that are going on around Twitch,
Mhm.
and having guests from the Fall Guys community as well.
Oh, that'd be cool. Fall Guys is a lot of fun. I've been playing a lot more recently. It's been one of those games where like I played in the first season and like I touched a little bit in the second season, didn't even go anywhere near the third season. But this fourth season, it's like it's a lot of fun and I've been getting back into it a little bit more and it's been lots of fun.
That's awesome. I highly recommend it. They did a great job with this season with the new levels,
Mhm.
and especially Skyline Stumble. That's probably my favorite level. Just the different obstacles they put in there with the flippers, the anti gravity areas,
Mhm.
and all those.
Skyline Symbol is definitely one of my favorites. That one and the short circuit, the two lap thing. I love that one.
Oh, I love that one too. And my family is big NASCAR fans,
Mhm.
so of course we love racing games and all that.
I love that. That's so much fun. My grandpa used to watch a lot of NASCAR. I don't know if he still does. My grandpa was always known for NASCAR and Food Network. So whenever I think of those two things, like that's what I think of because we call him the microwave king because he always knows how to microwave things like into the T, like how to put it in the microwave. And I always remembered that on one TV in his house there was the Food Network channel, and you would go down the hall, and on the other TV there was NASCAR. So he would like kind of go to each room to be watching certain things. It was kind of funny.
That's awesome. Actually, a few years ago, with the company I used to work for, we got to go to the Daytona 500,
Oh, nice.
and we got to that was a lot of fun.
That sounds like fun. That's really cool that you were able to do that.
Yeah, we got to sit in one of the suites and everything, and got to go in the pit area, and
Hmm.
that's definitely an experience I'll never forget.
That's awesome. So with is there some charities that you are particularly looking into to raise money for in the future?
Honestly, I don't have anything specific. I'm that is close to my heart. I'm just want to do well, like with the charity shiny race I did back in June. Uh, what I did was what I'm thinking of doing. We did that for the Autism Awareness Society because I did it with a friend of mine who's also a mod for me.
Hmm.
But she also has autism, so
Hmm.
did a we did a week long race to help benefit all charities and all the I can't speak today. Autism Society of America.
That's
And
awesome.
that'd be one. Then Wounded Warriors or another because
Hmm.
a lot of my grandpa and my uncle on my dad's side, they are both served in the. I believe my grandpa, if I remember correctly, was Army, and my uncle was Navy, if I remember
Nice.
correctly.
That's really cool. That's one that I had considered doing as well. I've done a couple of charity streams in the past, and they can be pretty fun. They can be very chaotic as well.
Oh yeah,
I did
with all the
the.
resources out there,
Oh yeah,
it's a lot easier to do
yeah.
these days.
Oh yeah, for sure. And charity streams can be so much fun. Um, And I think that no, like a community can't be too small. Like even if you are a very like you don't have as many followers kind of streamer, that you don't have to be like, oh, I need to have this amount of followers in order to do a charity stream. I think if you put out the word enough, you're capable of doing so much more with charity streams.
Oh, definitely.
As long as you get that word out, because that's another thing, is that sometimes people don't realize that you're doing a charity stream, and sometimes that indicates that you have to like post on social medias. But not only that, as well as putting it in your like in your title, having all of the commands in there as well. Like, don't be afraid to make your title be like huge.
Right. And they give you a maximum amount of characters, and you got to use them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because if you put in donate in there, and then you put in charity, or like the specific charity, like someone's out there looking for a streamer that's trying to look for money for charities, like to send money for charity. So if you put in that charity, that specific one, into your title, it'll be in there on your title, and somebody can search in the search bar and look for that specific charity, and when they find it, they can see that, hey, this person is doing this. I would love to go ahead and donate to it, and they can randomly donate there. I've had a couple people who literally just found it that way, and with charity, it's very difficult for people to think, oh, no one's gonna want to go ahead, come into my stream and donate. But like, you never know who's out there, who's watching your stream, who's watching that charity streams particularly, and especially if you tell them and you research and you do your proper researching for it, you know what's going on with that charity, and why that person should donate for it. It's perfect. So it's I've done 3 or 4 charity streams, and most of them are with other people, and doing it with other people is also another fun thing to do, because I've done it when I did a relay with for Trans Lifeline. I did the Horizon holiday that we did with some of my friends, and we raised quite a bit of money for that. It was a lot of fun, and I think I want to do that more often.
You should. It's a lot of fun, and you meet some really great people doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's somebody that you don't usually go ahead and talk to. That's kind of what this is. Doing podcasts for me is I'm talking to these people that I haven't really been able to have conversations with before.
Right. Just can't wait to see what else we can do in the future. It's good. There's so many great, especially with people affected by COVID. There's so many great charities coming out
Oh yeah.
that we can raise money for COVID relief and helping families affected by this.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
I
Especially
wish it
with.
didn't come because of such a pandemic, but that's just how it goes sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just how it happens. Okay, we're gonna switch on over to the gaming news portion here, and like I said at the beginning, I prepared very very late today. I've been very tired. Work has got me in a really weird state here, but for gaming news, I do have that Pokemon Snap is coming in at the very end of the month. Did you play Pokemon Snap when it came out originally?
I did not. When I was growing up and with my family, and they they really didn't let me play. They weren't big into video games, and so eventually we just ended up getting. I got into it with. Uh, my first game was probably Pokemon Crystal that I owned personally.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend that let me borrow his Pokemon Red copy, but I didn't really play it much because then my mom found it and she made me give it back to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was mainly mostly the handheld versions, the RPG versions.
Right, right, right.
Um, what I'm really excited that's coming out with, it's later in the year. I don't remember the exact date. Is the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes that are
Yes,
coming
I
out.
did hear about that. I I didn't really play any Pokemon games when I was younger. My first Pokemon game was actually Shield, I guess. I kind of played Let's Go, but not really. I played a little bit of Pokemon Go, but again, not a whole lot. Um, I wanted to get more into Pokemon. I was the kid that got the Pokemon cards when I was younger, and literally just wanted the cute ones and would trade all of my really good fancy cards for the really cute ones, and that was my extent
Oh
of
no.
Pokemon cards.
Yeah,
But
man, imagine if you had kept them all these days with how much they are going for
you
in
know,
on the market.
I probably would have, but my my sister, because she's younger than me, my sister actually took them and ripped some of them and
Oh
like
no.
poured water on them, and then she kept some of them for herself, and then she had a big pile of cards as well in her middle school days. So I don't know if she still has them, but I think she gave them away to people that actually liked Pokemon, because she again just kept them to have the cute ones,
Right.
really.
Right. Hey, everybody collects for different reasons. Collect to sell. Some collect to have those rare cards that you see, like the holographic Charizard that you see going for so much. And then some go just to collect their favorite Pokemon. And with the like sets like the Shining Fates where you can get shiny Pokemon in there, there there's a lot of people on Twitch that hunt for shiny Pokemon, and that's the majority of their community, and they have grown really big with doing all that as well.
um
We hit.
with collecting and stuff, it's actually kind of fun with collecting, because I find myself as a collector, really, because like um it's something that I found that not only I do, but my sister does, and so does my mom and dad. It's just kind of like a hereditary thing. My great grandma was
Mhm.
a hoarder, and my grandma was also kind of a hoarder as well. But like I know where my limit is at. I take care of my stuff as need be, but I collect pop figures, and most of my pop figures um, are out of the box, and most collectors uh, hate that, because
Mhm.
people collect so that they can go ahead and sell it later on. I collect because I like how they look, and they're my favorite characters, so I keep them, um, and that's why I have them up and about. And I take them out of the containers because it's just easier to have everything all set up and whatnot. So um,
Right.
it's just really funny because I get some people who are like, "Oh my god, it's out of the boxes! How could you?"
Uh, I understand. My family is a bit of a hoarder too. We've got a big dumpster out here from what we were cleaning up at my grandma's house, and we've almost filled it up, and we're not even halfway done with the house yet.
Oh my god. That's honestly a mood, because we had to do that to my great grandma's house, and oh my god, it was a lot. It was definitely a lot. Um, so besides the
We literally
Pokemon,
found we've literally found mason jars of coins in her master bedroom closet here
oh my
that my
god,
grandpa has stowed away.
you said coins?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I have a little jar full of coins that I get from work that are like, I know that they're valuable because they're of more than how much they're worth. So they're not just 5 cents. If it's a nickel, it's worth possibly $1 or more. I have them because I found them
Right.
at work, because I work in retail. I work as a at a gas station as a cashier. So I see a lot of money. So I'll like take a nickel out of my purse and I'll put that in my till, and I'll take that nickel instead. And I'll have that for later. So I have a bunch of coins and I've been meaning to sell them, but I just never get to it. So at some point that'll be me.
Hey, gotta start somewhere though.
Right?
We even found some magazines here from the 1980s range of Bon Appetit magazines. I looked them up on eBay.
Mhm.
Somebody has them listed for like $20 each.
Oh my god. That's insane. That's really cool though, because it's something that's
Oh yeah.
it's something that's old and cool, and there's always somebody that's looking for something like that.
Oh yeah.
So besides Pokemon Snap, we have E3 is coming up soon-ish, and I say soon-ish because it's not until like I think June. I think. Um, I
Honestly,
think.
with last year with COVID, I don't remember when any of the dates are because everything got canceled last year.
Right. And last year, what it was Nintendo. I don't think Nintendo did E3 because E3 was canceled per se, but everyone did their own like kind of direct sort of things and kind of combined it with E3. And they all released everything around that same time. That's when we so that's when we'll find out the next games for the last half of the year slash the beginning of next year, because right now we have a certain amount of games that have been told that they're going to be released up until about
Hmm.
July. We have a couple of other things at the end of the year as well, but not as big of things that they were saying before. So, is there anything that you're kind of looking forward to that or hoping that they'll have at E3?
I'm hoping for, like I said, I'm a big Pokemon fan,
Mm-hmm.
and one game I'm really looking forward to that we haven't talked about yet that's coming out next year is the Pokemon Legends Arceus, an open world RPG for Pokemon.
Okay.
First time they've ever done that, and I'm really excited to see
Oh.
for more info about that game
Oh
coming
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if they come out with it.
Because that's supposed to be kind of like a League of Legends, but with Pokemon, right? Kind like that.
I think
That's
that's
not
a
really,
mobile
but
game they released last year. I can't
mm-hmm.
remember the name of it though. I can't remember what was that name? I'll probably remember once we get off the podcast.
Possibly it happens all the time. I forget all certain things because I can't remember what it was called either. Um, and I only know so much about Pokemon because again, I didn't really play it as much. So, but
Right.
it is a thing. I'm kind of hoping that they'll maybe release a little bit of like an inkling of something to do with Breath of the Wild 2. I'm hoping just a small inkling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I really loved the Zelda games growing up. I
Hmm.
never really played them. I loved watching them though.
Oh yeah, I loved watching people play them because my mom is a Zelda fan. And so I loved watching my mom play the Zelda games, but I never really got into them because I would always get to the first boss, defeat the first boss, not get to the second boss, and then like I would just be done with everything and I would not be able to handle any of that stuff. So I was just not being able to like get into it without me like having issues and whatnot. So
Right.
now as I'm older, I'm going to get more into playing the Zelda games. I'm hopefully gonna finish Breath of the Wild 2. Wow, Breath of the Wild, the first one, this month, and then I want to start next month. I want to start one of the other ones. Hopefully, is I'm gonna put a poll up at some point, but I want to finish or I want to start Ocarina of Time um or Wind Waker. One of those two, because those two are I've always told people that those are my two favorites because those are my favorites, except I've never actually finished the game. So I have no idea. Like, I would love to actually um, play those games and actually, like, do good at them and whatnot. So, um, it's something that I'm looking forward to. So I really want Breath of the Wild 2 to come out, but I want it to come out after I'm done with the first one.
I get it completely.
All right, so let's move on over to your guest topic. I'm gonna let you take a
Sure.
little bit of reins on that one, which is the staying positive during COVID. So go ahead and let us know what you're thinking.
Well, when it comes to staying positive, during COVID, it's not easy staying positive in the face of adversity. You never know what's going to. Life is always throwing you curveballs. You never. We're all going to have our battles that we face in whether it be COVID, losing a job because of COVID. It it all varies. How you handle it is all depends on you. You can only control what you yourself. You can't control anybody else in life, and control. You want to control how you think about everything. You don't want to let others try to take advantage of you. And I'm guilty of it. I have people that I consider used to consider friends that would take advantage of how nice I used to be,
Mm-hmm.
and that would wear down on me, and I would have to battle through that every day,
Mm-hmm.
and it would where I'm one of those. I'm probably one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you cross me, I also have a short temper, so that's never a fun thing to do. uh,
I get that because
one thing,
that's something that people do. They'll go ahead and take advantage of you if you're being nice, and that's something that I've been learning in this last year. Is that people will take advantage of those people that are being nice to you.
oh yeah, and honestly, one thing that helps me stay positive, I mean, is when find little ways to make somebody's day better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know that's kind of a bit contradictory, but one thing, like I said, for the reason I got started streaming is to help charities and stuff.
Right.
Well, one thing I like to do is by making people smile by saying hi to them in every chat I go into,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and especially if I know them or even if I've never even seen them before,
Right.
I'm always trying to say hi and hopefully make their days better by saying something nice to them. And if they're going through something bad, letting them know they have somebody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And my DMs are always open to anybody and everybody that y'all need somebody to talk to. I may not be an expert in the subject, but I can always give you advice or just somebody that's there to listen,
Right.
no matter what's going on.
I'm very much one of those people that I'm always there to listen. I I usually tell people all the time that I'm a good listener, and I've kind of been learning a little bit about how my learning skills, and that's mostly because I found that I talk a lot. If you haven't noticed, I do talk a lot, and I talk to a point where like um, I possibly talk a little too much about myself, and then people seem to not be able to get a word out sometimes, and I've been learning to pull that back a little bit and not tell people too much about my own life until it's a good moment to do so.
Right. One thing in that another thing that I always also like to do to help stay positive is when in business we do a lot of personal development, trying to grow ourselves, trying to get stronger mentally, uh, make sure we can handle the pressures that go on through everyday life. And I like to read a lot of personal development books, like from like Zig Ziglar or any other people out there. It all depends on how you want to get started and what you're looking forward in the books you read. There's audiobooks as well. You can read paper copies or
Mm-hmm.
read them on your Kindle or what. I always forget what the names of the book devices are. I'm just drawing a blank on titles, names of
It's
things
all good.
today.
It's all good.
But yeah, building yourself up mentally is something you always need to be working on every day, trying to do at least 30 minutes of personal development
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of yourself, and make sure to reach out to maybe even your family and friends to let them know that you see how they're doing, checking in on them every day. Because I'm one of those people, if I get one of the reasons I get so down is because in my family, I love them, but there's some days I feel like they, I just want somebody to listen to me. I feel like they don't even take the time, but
Mhm.
just know there's always somebody willing to listen.
Oh
I
yeah.
I know my mom is always there now. I
Mhm.
talked to her about it, and she said she will always be there for me.
Mhm.
Um, and then you have your friends here on Twitch. You have your Twitch family is what I call them, or the Fae
Mhm.
Fam, as
Right, right.
and we're always here for you.
Mhm.
And you are awesome and amazing. And don't let anybody ever tell you differently, because
Mhm.
if they do, I'll beat them up for you.
I'll beat him up for you. That's good. That's really good because that's something that I tell people all the time too is the that I am here to listen to you because I usually, like I said, told people that I'm a good listener. So I am here, and this goes for anybody that's just listening in on this as well, is if you're listening to this and you're having a hard time, you can talk to me, to any of my mods as well, because my mods have been there for me this entire time. Um, they've helped me throughout a whole lot of things, um, especially in this last year. In the last like I don't know 4 or 5 months, like it's been a freaking doozy, and they've been there this entire time. It's really nice to make sure that your mods are also people that you
Mm-hmm.
can go to. So shout out to the mods.
Oh, yeah. Mods are great. They're always there for you. They're people you can trust with to take care of you, help you out in your stream, but also somebody that it, will listen to you and help you out in any way that you need it. And I a lot of I have a couple of my mods that I would trust with my life,
Mhm.
honestly.
Mhm.
And I have, make sure you get some of those friends, and also surround yourself with positive people. Don't get around, because if you surround yourself with positive people, they're going to build you up and take you to that next level. If you surround yourself with negative people, they're going to try to bring you down to their level,
Mhm.
and you want to. That's not always good for you. You got to look out for the golden goose. You got to look out for yourself first.
That's true.
And yeah,
You gotta make sure that you surround yourself with those that are more positive people. Even if because not everyone can be positive all the time. That's not actually a thing. That's
right.
a possibility. Everyone's human, but the people that are willing to listen, willing to look at what you're saying, and give you a good note, like, hey, like when I came up to people and was like, hey, I want to do this podcast, but I don't want to because there's so many other people who are doing podcasts. Why should I do this podcast? They're like, well, you said that you wanted to do this, so if you don't do it, are you going to regret it? I was like, well, I don't regret things, but I would think about the times that I could have talked to these amazing people, so maybe I should go into it. So it's like there's these people are making you look into it and realize that you should be doing it. So they're being a positive and a more I guess positive aggressive, I guess.
Right.
Being like you should do this, but just because you want to do it. So like don't think about other people. Think about yourself for a little bit here. It's okay to do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
So how have you been staying positive during the COVID times
Um,
personally?
what has really helped me is um, avoiding, like I said, avoiding the toxic people that are out there, the negative people, because, like I said, they're just going to take you down to their level. Uh, pers- Personal development books and just reading, and definitely stay away from the news, because what the news does is they only show you the negative stuff going on in the world. They don't ever really show you the positive things that are happening in the world, because that's what drives ratings. That's what some people tune in for. They don't. It's You're never going to see the positive things, and they're always going to spin it so
Mhm.
it doesn't. The truth, not the 100% truth, is not always going to come out every time.
Right.
And
they're gonna twist it into a way that makes it so that the news rises with fear. That's what it is.
Exactly.
They know you are being fearful, so they are going to be like, oh no, and give everything that they can out of you, so that way, they can get all that fear and build up on it because they're like, they know that they can build those numbers. And
Oh yeah.
it's not fun to look at those numbers and be like, I want to see this. Like when COVID first started, it's actually insane because my state, I live in Washington State. Washington State was the number one state for the first, I think, 2 months. I'm not
Mm.
100% on that. It was a while though. My state was the most had the most COVID cases, and then it became New York because New York had that block party that they had or something. And as soon as they had that block party, it turned into New York having the most COVID cases, and then from there you just see it building. And Washington State put in the mask mandate in July, June, July.
Oh wow.
I can't remember, but it's still there, mask mandated. You have to wear a mask whenever you go into a public place. And the amount of people that are still forgetting a year later about their mask is absolutely disgusting to me because I'm like, come on, man. Like, we've been doing this for how long now in Washington State? We've been wearing masks for almost a year now, and you're still forgetting it. That does not make sense to
Oh,
me.
at least y'all still have a mask mandate.
Oh
I'm here in
God.
Texas where we got rid of our mask mandate. Yeah.
Yeah, I went into Texas in at the end of May last year, and I there was nobody with masks. I had a mask and people still were looking at me crazy, and sometimes I felt nervous because of these people without masks. So I'm going to be I'm going to be truthful here. I was scared that they were going to like
Mhm.
be mean to me to the point where I took off my mask sometimes when I went into public places because I didn't want them to be talking, coming at me because I was wearing a mask. So I would stay in the hotel when I was there a majority of the time because I only went out in public, I think, one or two times. So I stayed in the hotel room the entire time I was in Texas.
Oh yeah, when you went to go visit Lizabelle,
Yeah.
Liz, look, hey, you still had a great time, even though, from what I can tell on the streams y'all did, even though y'all didn't leave the hotel. I'm
Oh
glad
yeah, we
you got to
literally
come
stayed
to
in the hotel
Texas.
the entire time. We literally just played games the whole time.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And like with that's the great thing about video games. You can have a great time, and with Twitch, if you're whether you're streaming or just watching your friends stream, you're hanging out with people without having to go out in public and worry about COVID. And that's another way I've been able to stay positive
Mhm.
throughout all this.
Oh yeah, with being on Twitch, it's been a lot nicer because like you're able to like create these friendships with people and not have to see them in public, and be nervous about like masks and stuff and everything. So it's been really nice to use video games and whatnot and Twitch to build these friendships with all these people that I have within the last year.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
Is there
I was
any?
going to say something, but I just drew a blank.
Oh, that's me all the time. That's me all the time. With staying positive, it is difficult because um, all these people that have lost their jobs, all the people that got laid off because there was no way. Like, I'm the only reason why my work is still afloat is because of we're a truck stop, so we're still busy enough. But there was a point a couple of times where I looked at it going, are we still going to stay open? But there was a few times where I wanted to quit my job in the last year because the amount of the amount of people that were like mad at me for telling them to wear a mask or mad at me because I told them that they were in the wrong parking spot, so I can't help them until they've moved, or they're mad at me because I have to look at their identification even though they're 70 years old and I still have to see their ID because they're buying restricted product. Like, I was getting yelled at consistently, and I hated it, and I'm like, I don't want to be yelled at all the time, and I almost quit a few times, but with COVID, there was no way for me to find a new job.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing you can do about that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
You've been very fortunate to still have a job. There,
exactly.
unfortunately, with COVID, there's been quite a few people that have been laid off because of business slowing down. I
Hmm.
actually used to own a nutrition club,
Hmm.
and when COVID hit, business slowed down so much. When my lease was up at the end of the year, I closed it down because I just couldn't afford to stay open
Right.
anymore.
Right. And I remember seeing that, and as soon as I saw that, I was so like, I felt so, not bad, because that bad is the wrong word. It's just like, I felt so upset for you that that had happened, because I was so excited that you had that to lean on, and when you didn't have that to lean on, I was so upset that that had happened to you.
Uh, well, thank you for that. One great thing that did come out of it, out here where my grandma lives, that we're moving out to,
Mhm.
it's about halfway between the city where I live in and the city south of there. And there's no nutrition clubs in this area, but there's a ton of homes being built out here and new businesses coming in. I'm actually going to, in the near future, I'm going to be opening up another location here with it. I just got to build a building first.
That's
And
awesome that you're
yeah,
able to set that back up, and start working on that some more again, because that's something you're
oh
really
yeah,
passionate about.
oh definitely. Um, good nutrition is definitely something that we all need, and it's honestly with COVID, we struggle with it all the time. Everybody does because we don't always get all the nutrients we need. Like,
Mhm.
but with the company I'm with it's Herbalife is the name. It's been around for about 40 years, actually over 40 years.
Mhm.
But they have all the products that I can just order them online, and I can have them shipped to my house, and I can have 2 to 3 meals a day if I wanted to. With these shakes, and I'd be full and save a lot of money.
Perfect. Perfect. That's awesome. I've been looking into HelloFresh again because it keeps popping up on all of my freaking social medias all over again. I used HelloFresh as a way to get food. I think like a year and a half ago, and it was really good because it it was really nice. Each week I got like four different meals for the week. And it was like homemade food that you made, but like they gave you all the ingredients for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was really nice, and I didn't have to go to the store or anything. And I've been thinking about doing that again because it was so nice to have that ready to go. And it was fun to try
Oh,
something
definitely.
new too.
I love those meal companies like HelloFresh. I know there's a couple other ones, but that's the only one I can remember.
Blue
Uh,
Apron.
I, but that's one. Uh, but before I opened my nutrition club, one of the things that I thought about I would want to do with my life is actually become a chef and open my own, run a restaurant and kitchen and all that. But as with everything, like with COVID, life happens and plans change,
Oh yeah,
and
for
you
sure.
never know what's going to happen next.
And I think that even though COVID changed a lot of things for people, there's always some sort of something's gonna come back up. You have to. It's life's a roller coaster. You're gonna go down. Things are gonna happen, and you're gonna go back up. You're gonna get back up on top of it. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that is something that I can see happening in the future. Like for you to get going with those charity streams, to for you getting the nutrition club, for me doing more episodes of this podcast, of getting, you know, all of those goals that we have that we're planning for, I don't think we could have gotten to that point without something for COVID to happen. Like, although it's terrible that all these things happen, and it's going to happen.
Things happen for a reason.
And I've always been a big advocate of that. And if you don't believe that, that's fine. That's your thing. But I see it as, if things happen for a reason, because if I didn't, let's see, if I didn't move back here because I moved to Oregon for 4 months with my best friend. And in that time, I was in a relationship with my now husband. It was at the very beginning of our relationship. If I had stayed in Oregon for probably a few more months, I probably wouldn't be with him today. Because I'm sure that at that point, our long distance thing would have completely fallen apart. And we wouldn't be able to be together because I lived so far away. Because it was still a fresh relationship. But I moved back, and then I came here, and I was able to spend that time with him. And now here we are, 6-7 years later, married. So I feel like things are going to happen. Like, I always look at different things. Like, if I told him no, then I would be with, somewhere else. I wouldn't be with him. I would be somewhere else. I'd be in another town doing something. I wouldn't be streaming on Twitch. I wouldn't be having my time on Twitch. I'd be somewhere else. There's not a possibility in my head that I would come back to this point where I'm at.
Right.
In some other dimension, possibly. But, like, right now, like, things happen for a reason. We're here because this is what this certain plan, our decisions made.
Part of the reason I think God put me in Canadian was so I can learn these lessons, so I can be better prepared for opening my future clubs. Like, everything happens for a reason. We may not know why it happened when it first happens, but eventually the vision becomes clearer for us, and God always knows what's going to happen for better to us in the future that is going to help us and take care of us and mold us into the human beings He wants us to be. Whether it be hitting partner on Twitch, making it successful on YouTube, becoming a 6-figure earner at a high earning law firm. Everybody's journey is different. And what we like, I like to compare life to like a game of poker. We're all dealt a hand in life. Some hands we start out with are better than others. And it doesn't matter what hand you start with. It's how you play that hand is what determines how your future is going to come to fruition. What's going to determine how successful you're going to be. It all depends on you. Got to remember where the camera comes out on my phone sometimes. But yeah, it all depends on how much hard work you are willing to put into it, and how successful you want to be. And like I said earlier, don't let anybody. You are a champion, and victory is coming, and don't let anybody tell you differently, because they're wrong if they do.
Exactly. And you'll beat them up for us.
Exactly.
Perfect. I love it. So we're going to switch on over to our Q&A section. If those that are in the Twitch chat right now, if you guys have any questions for us, whether it's having to do with anything that we have talked about today, or not having to talk about anything to do with today, you're able to ask questions using your channel points. It costs 10 YOS channel points. So even if you're not a follower, I believe you still get those points added into your thing if you've been watching to this point. And yeah, I believe there's a total of 10 that we can get asked. let me switch on over that screen. Perfect. Okay, so we do have two questions here currently. So Shiny asks, do you ever feel more pressure to do a stream because it's a charity stream as opposed to a normal stream? I struggle with this and it gives me some anxiety.
Um, I really don't. I try to put as little pressure on myself as possible. I know that sounds weird, but the more pressure I put on myself, the more stressed out I get, and that usually leads to me going to a dark place mentally. And I try to avoid those as much as possible. Um, oh, that's a really good question, honestly. I don't try to do them all the day, every day, all the time. I try to do them incrementally, like just once or twice, not as often as most people would.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then just once or uh, do. But the hardest part about streaming, honestly, is just hitting that go live button,
Mhm.
because you get what they call imposter syndrome. You don't
Mhm.
think you're gonna make it. You don't think anybody's going to be there to watch. But if you spend time making new friends here on Twitch or in real life, they're going to be there,
Mhm.
and they're going to support you, and be going to be there as much as they can for you, and they're going to be a positive influence if you have the right people around you, of course.
Mhm.
And you just got to know that they, they're going to have the best interest in your heart for you, in that no matter what they might say to you.
Right. I've experienced this. I've experienced the pressure to do like a big stream, especially because one of the first streams, charity streams that I did was for the Trans Lifeline, and when I did that one, it was a relay, and with the relay, it meant that, excuse me, sorry, with the relay, it was where we had um all these people, and you all these people would come into your stream at the very beginning, and like we did all of the fun things, and you only had a 2 hour slot to do this, or a 3 hour slot, and then you had to move all of your friends and community members and the people that came in from the previous raid, and you had to move them on to the next person. So it was continuous with having to do in this Trans Lifeline charity race that we did, and it was really fun, really cool. And I set my goal, I think my goal was $250. Um, and I try to keep mine minimal. I need to keep mine minimal because I'm always scared that I'm not going to hit the um the goal that I want to get to. Like the most recent charity stream that I did was for Stop API Hate. We're still raising money for it right now, but I've only raised $125 with my community, and I was trying to get to $420 in a week. And at the time, I didn't have that capability of getting all of those people in there. I did hype it up. I did tell everybody in my social medias that we're doing this, but we didn't get to it. And at first, it hurt me a little bit. I was like, oh, I don't know. It's fine. I'll just keep doing it a little bit longer. At this point, for myself, I'm looking at it as, that's fine. We raised $125 for this charity that didn't have it prior. So now, even though I didn't make my goal of $420, I still made $125 with my community to go to that specific charity, and that's something in of itself that it has
Mm-hmm.
uh changed it's changed somebody's life, just a little bit. And it you do have to be proud of those small goals. Whether you even if I raised only $10, I still would have seen it as a goal, or as a something to be proud of, because
Oh, yeah,
we raised something.
exactly. Like the charity shiny race I did back
Hmm.
last June. Uh, our goal was $1,000,
Yeah.
and we only raised 100.
Hmm.
But there, we it really meant the world to that we could even just do that much. I highly recommend starting low on your goal, because
Hmm.
you know you want to keep your you don't want it to exceed your expectations, because
Mhm.
usually when you don't want to get disappointed, because if you don't reach your goal, it could take you down just as bad as not being around negative people, because it's it can be I'm trying to think of how I want to say this, but you never know. We're all wired differently up here,
Mhm.
but how it's going to affect you, your mentality. And I'd start up with like $100, and then set goals, like another goal at 200, another at 300, and just keep on going from there. And that way, you'll never be disappointed with how far ahead of your goal you'll
Mhm.
ever get.
Right. Start small, and then as your community gets larger, then you obviously
Exactly.
change your things with your community. So, with the Trans Lifeline, we raised $425.69. So I exceeded or I exceeded my expectations for that charity stream. And then for some reason, my brain was like, okay, so the next one you do, you have to get around that amount. I got nowhere near that amount, and I didn't need to get anywhere near that amount, because as long as I raised something, I had a platform, and I used that platform to raise awareness for whatever charity we're raising money for. That was the whole that's the whole point. Not raising money, but raising awareness is the biggest
Exactly.
thing. That's the whole point of charity streams. Using your platform for these things.
Hmm. One of my favorite quotes, I actually have, it's actually on this teacup I have here.
Mhm.
You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want
Mhm.
in life.
Kind of like karma.
Exactly.
Mhm. Kind of like karma, although it's not karma. I think it's like dharma or something. Anyway, yeah, giving things out into the world. You put good out into the world, good will come to you. That's something that we
Exactly.
also do in around here. Shiny also asks, who is your favorite Pokemon?
My personal favorite is Salamence. He's the Gen 3 dragon. Just always really thought he was a really cool Pokemon, and the luck he had with, or she, you never know. It's hard to tell with Pokemon. But I, it's always been my favorite Pokemon for sure. How about you, Glenn? Who's your favorite Pokemon?
I'm gonna be the basic of bitches here, okay? The card that I always, because what I was saying right before, I had for my cards, my favorite was always the Jigglypuff evolutions, all of the Jigglypuff ones.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember all of them, okay, because it's been a while, it's been a moment, but Jigglypuff will always be in my heart, because the music, the sound that it made, it was my favorite, and I was always excited. Butterfree was also one of them, because, like, I mean, come on, it's Butterfree. I'm very much into Gen 1 Pokemon. I don't
oh
get
that's
into all the
awesome.
newer ones. I can't remember anything past that, and that's all I will ever remember, probably.
Actually, I have this fan game I've been playing called Pokemon Ash Gray.
Hmm.
It's the Pokemon Leaf Green Fire Red settings, but it goes through the whole original anime, about 116 different episodes of it, and two of the movies in the plot, and it's a lot of fun, honestly,
That's awesome.
to go and relive all that.
I remember very vaguely, because I was a child, but I
Right.
remember seeing the Pokemon movie in 2000, the Pokemon movie 2000, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was, Pokemon 2000 the movie. What is that? What it was? I can't remember
I
what it.
believe so.
Anyway, I remember watching it. I was like 7 years old when it came out, so I remember going to the theaters to go see it with with the neighbor kids and my mom and her best friend as at the moment. So it was that's something that I kind of remember from that.
That's awesome, though. You always you don't remember everything about those childhood, but those memories you make together with your family, the very special moments like that, those are the ones you remember the most from your childhood.
For sure.
You try to, one thing we try to do is we try to repress those bad memories. For everyone, they're all, like I said, they're all different for everybody. But best thing you can do with those is just let them go out the window and just try to forget them, because again, that wears on you mentally as well.
It does. It really does. And that's something that I've been working on myself, because I have, like you said, repressed memories. I have memories between the ages of 8. Well, technically, my kindergarten through, I want to say, like 5th grade era. Like, I don't remember a majority of any of that stuff that happened then, because I literally, like, if my brain goes that far, it literally goes blank, because I washed it out of my memory because I didn't want it there. I blocked it off. It's in a safe. It's in a vault. It's never going to come out until I want it to. And it's kind of weird to think about. Sometimes I remember things like the Pokemon thing. There's like little bits and pieces that I remember. But I do remember is after that seeing my mom and my dad play video games and stuff like that, because my family is run on video games. I have that different dynamic of family that most people do. My family actually played video games, and my parents grew up with the original Nintendo and was one of the first people to go out and get one as well. So like I grew up with that instead of the other aspect of it where people are like, I don't want my kids playing video games. Video games cause violence.
Those people, they don't know what they're talking about.
Nah.
Video games, I mean, some people...
Some video games do.
It's possible. Yeah, but it also depends on the person, too. It isn't always because of the video games.
Right.
That's just what some people blame it on.
Right. They find something to blame it on, and they're like, "Ooh, video games, that's a great one. Yeah, let's do that." A lot of the times, it's not
they
actually
just try
a video
to
game.
pass the blame instead of actually taking full responsibility for what they actually did. In some cases.
For those in the Twitch chat right now, is there any other questions you guys would like to ask? We do have a little bit more questions that are able to be asked within this. Otherwise, do you have any questions? Because I ran out of all my questions. I already asked you all of mine.
No, I totally get it. Honestly, no matter how prepared I am, I always run out of stuff to ask. So I get it.
The Butterfree episode of the anime still makes me cry. Same. I know I said that I don't look at chat, but sometimes I do. That's the one thing that I see.
I've been glancing at it too, so I totally get it.
Shiny, sorry. Okay. With that being said, I think we are done with our podcast episode of the day. Arocks, thanks for coming on here and talking with me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun. It was great getting to talk with you. This is honestly the first time I think we've ever talked, not just text to...
Not just in chat or something. Yeah. That's what I'm noticing with everybody. All of the people that I've been on an episode with for the podcast, I have not talked to outside of their Twitch chat except for Shiny. Shiny's the only one I've actually talked to outside, and she was my first episode. So the first episode was a lot more of a relaxing episode in my my brain because I was able to talk to somebody that I've already talked to before. The other people I have
Right.
talked to kind of before, but not through Twitch chats and not through like actually like VC, kind of like what we're doing here. But it's been a lot of fun to do these. I am going to let everyone know here. So, this is episode 6. The next episode, episode number 7, will be the last episode of the season. Now, usually now would be a time where I tell you who's going to be on the next episode. This time around, there's not going to be anybody on this episode. It's going to be just me, and it'll be a very interesting time, a very interesting topic. I'm excited to talk to you guys about it, and I hope you guys are really excited to hear about it. It'll be fun, and I'm not going to reveal what we're talking about until later, so
Sounds good to me.
but I'm excited for you guys to hear it. Thank you, Arocks, for being a part of our last few episodes of the first season. The second season, on the other hand, is going to start in June. May I keep off tabs just so that I have things set off to the side for my affiliate anniversary, as well as doing other things, because I have a couple of other things that happen in May myself. But we're gonna start up in June with our brand new podcast, season 2. We even get new overlays. It's gonna be brand new. It's gonna look really cool. Andrew has been collaborating with me, figuring out ways to renew season 2. And 7 episodes doesn't seem like a whole lot for one season, but with how I've been doing things, I feel like it's a good time for me to start taking a small break from the podcast, and start afresh, start anew, and we might see some new things. And I'm excited to see the new people that are going to be on the next season. I've already have a few already lined up for the next season. How insane is that?
Can't wait.
So I'm
It's
excited.
gonna be awesome.
And yeah, thank you again, Arocks, for being here. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you again for having me.
Of course.